Peter Singleton that the issues of dairying and water quality are, quote, urgent and critical, end quote, and the only hope of change is, quote, through regulation, that they take on board the environmental cost of their business.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Madam Speaker, yes, certainly in respect of the first quote. This issue is one which is deep, it's complex, it goes to the heart of the economy and also our identity as New Zealanders, and I look forward to working with members on it.
Supplementary question, Nandor Tanczos.
Does the Minister believe that there are any limits to the extent that dairy farming can continue to expand, and if so, how will the government ensure that dairy expansion keeps within those limits?
Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Madam Speaker, clearly there are some limits to the expansion. I think the tools of making sure that those limits are enforced and are effective is something to be worked on really across the House.
Supplementary question, Nandor Tanczos.
Thank you. Is the Minister concerned that Think Big irrigation projects such as Canterbury Plains Water and Waitaki's Hunter Downs will push dairy expansion beyond sustainable limits, especially since just current levels of expansion and intensification mean that even with best practice farming methods, our waterways will continue to deteriorate?
Madam Speaker.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Madam Speaker, I don't know the details of those particular expansions yet. Clearly there is a lot of responsibility on consenting agencies for them, and having a proper plan of action in place I think will be important to give guidance, especially going forward.
Supplementary question, Nandor Tanczos.
Does the Minister agree that it is time that farmers began to pay the environmental cost of their businesses? And isn't it simply subsidising unsustainable expansion of dairy farming to exempt them from paying for their greenhouse gas emissions, exempt them from paying for the huge quantities of water that they use for irrigation, or for the contamination of our common waterways from effluent and other runoff?
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Madam Speaker, the method of regulation I think is what the discussion is to be about going forward, and clearly there is an acceptance of more of the cost of individuals' activities being accepted by the industries involved, and I think that's something that's not limited to farmers.
No further supplementaries. Then we'll move to